Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Welcome to Right and Wrong. This is the show where we try to wake up the woke by talking common sense about the issues of the day. I'm your host, Brian Ruka, and with me, as always, over there is my man and yours, producer Juice. He likes to go by the name Truth Box out there on the World Wide Web, ladies and gentlemen. He's known everywhere from here to Timbuktu for doing his thing, speaking the truth. My man Juice, how you holding up tonight, brother?
Holding up well, my friend. Ready to rock and roll. Excited. Ready to do it.
I love it.
Did we take a week off again? We've been doing every other week, right?
We kind of have been.
Better quality, but less. I'll kind of take that.
What, the old less is more strategy?
Yeah.
Is that what they
well,
say?
not even less is more. Better. No, quality over quantity.
Okay. There you go. I like it. I think, people are just used to like a solid, firm, dedicated recording released schedule from us. That if there's one thing we've been known for, it's that.
Yeah.
So maybe we're throwing people off a little bit with this, but our fans like to go with us. They're along for the journey with us, Juice.
Appreciate y'all.
I love it. All right. So there is no doubt in my mind, ladies and gentlemen, that the greatest development in human history is our ability to communicate with each other through language. Humans have a unique ability to speak that is far superior and far more advanced than any other creature that has ever existed on this earth. Without language, we don't have strong families. Without language, we don't have local communities. Without language, we don't have cities, states, or nations. Without language, we don't have a functioning society. Simply put, without language, the world as we know it doesn't even exist. There are currently around 193 recognized countries in the world, and of that 193, around 180 of them have an official language designated by their government. And as of March the 1st of this year, because of the great Donald J. Trump, the United States of America now recognizes English as its official language. The purpose of Trump's executive order is laid out perfectly when it says this, quote, "From the founding of our republic, English has been used as our national language. Our nation's historic governing documents, including the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution, have all been written in English. A nationally designated language is at the core of a unified and cohesive society. And the United States is strengthened by a citizenry that can freely exchange ideas in one shared language." Notice the precision in the language there. It specifically states that language is at the core of a unified and cohesive society. Is that even debatable? I mean, what brought the fall of the Tower of Babel? The people were unable to freely exchange ideas in one shared language, and the Tower to Heaven failed in epic fashion. The reason America has not failed yet is because deep down, even a far-left lunatic would admit that English has always been the official language of the United States. Trump just finally stepped up to put it on record. This executive order continues the theme of Trump 2.0 because it's another example of easy, common sense decision making. He knows that the left is going to scream bloody murder about anything he does. So he might as well do things that normal, everyday people agree with. For the majority of my life, we have been shamed into not just tolerating, but adopting and conforming to the standards and norms of the exceptions as opposed to the rules. Think of the old I before E except after C rule. We all learned that as children, and it's a fairly easy concept and rule to wrap our heads around. The left's bread and butter are the exceptions, most notably being any exception to the standard, normal, time-tested man-woman sexual relationship. They believe that an exception should have just as much of the public's attention as the standard. Since the left has dominated the culture, the arts, and the schools for the past 50 to 60 years, they've held the status of a majority, even though their ideas and beliefs cater to a small minority. This is where the old shame part comes into play. The left has been brilliant at shaming us normies into thinking that unless we cater to and conform our society to the exceptions, we're somehow bigots and bad people. This is why conservatives have referred to themselves as the silent majority for so long. The left shamed us into the silence. Trump has come along and handed blowhorns to the silent majority. The silent majority. And I think it's safe to say we're all collectively done with being shamed into silence. So where does the I before E rule, except after C, come into play with language? Have you ever tried calling up like your cable company? You end up getting 15 different language options, and English happens to be option number 5. Listen, I have no problem at all with people that are able to speak multiple languages. It's a useful skill, but it doesn't mean that a foreign language should have the same status as the native language that founded this country. There's a reason why there can only be one captain on a ship. There's a reason why there can only be one head coach of a football team. And there's a reason why there's only one majority owner of a company. It's because at the end of the day, every person sailing on that ship, playing on that team, or working at that company has their own views, ideas, and plans. They have their own lived experience, if you will. But it doesn't matter because they need to unite and be able to follow one leader with one vision under one language. I think this piece of the executive order sums up perfectly what I just tried to describe with that last example. Quote, to promote unity, cultivate a shared American culture for all citizens, ensure consistency in government operations, and create a pathway to civic engagement, it is in America's best interest for the federal government to designate one and only one official language. Establishing English as the official language will not only streamline communication, but also reinforce shared national values and create a more cohesive and efficient society. How can we have a shared national country that we're all proud of when we can't even agree to share the same official language? The simple truth is that the left has no interest in having a shared value of this country because they do not value our country. They hate our country, and they want nothing more than to fundamentally tear it down. The biggest lie that Joe Biden ever told was that he was interested in uniting our country. The man proceeded to divide us like we've never been before. The left thrives on dividing, and what better way to divide us than by ensuring none of us can understand each other? President Trump stepped up and did the right thing to try and unite the United States of America as one nation under God, speaking one language for liberty and justice for all. And with that being said, I do believe it's time to welcome in our good friend, Mr. Ric Flair, because it is showtime, baby. Woo!
Showtime!
That was
Oh,
great.
Yeah, juice.
Love that, Mono.
Oh, there we go. What do you think, brother? I mean, great job by Trump, right?
Yeah, needed.
Pulling the trigger.
Crazy that you have to do that, but it's nice to, like, it doesn't, like, I don't know, maybe you can tell me if this actually officially changes anything, but it's nice to have that. And right, like, even just as a formality, like, this
Absolutely.
is the national language. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
we were kind of I forget the it was something I loved in there. But either way, we were talking about this in show prep a little bit
Yeah.
about, like, we always love sports references, right?
Absolutely.
And say, like, the team, think of it as like a microcosm of the nation.
Yeah.
You have people on the team speaking different languages with interpreters and things like that. You know, great. We're going to need that, especially when someone comes in new to the team and it's this great talent out of, a lot of them come from the Dominican and things like that. But when you can't have camaraderie in the locker room or doing X's and O's because you speak a different language with interpreters, you're not going to be as good of a team and you won't be as good of a country.
It's insane.
But the piece that I did,
rally around each other.
I remember the piece that I loved, and now I'm forgetting.
What do you got?
Again. No, now I'm forgetting it again because you jumped in. Yeah. What did we just say though?
Oh, with the interpreters and stuff. Like, so the thing that I was talking about pre-show that I brought up, like, with you too, when that got us going down there, was Rafael Devers for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
Like, he's on the team for 8 years. He has a $300 million contract, highest paid player on the team, and the guy needs an interpreter to speak Spanish to take questions from the media. He can't communicate with the reporters that cover the team. And it just aggravates me as a sports fan. It makes me less connected to the guy in my team I want to root for. And it has nothing to do with race. It doesn't make me racist. I'm a white guy from Boston. This guy's a Spanish guy from the Dominican. Sure, he speaks Spanish, and that's fine. But my favorite player of all time for the Red Sox was Pedro Martinez. I think the guy was phenomenal. And one of the things that I loved about Pedro was his personality, his quirkiness, and his sound bites that he gave to the media, because he worked hard to learn the language here in America as an American athlete who handsomely was rewarded for his ability, but he assimilated into our culture.
And that makes you endearing to the fans.
Absolutely.
Hey, I take this important. I want to communicate with you. Like, you're nobody here without the fans filling the seats, buying the merch. You know what I mean? That money has to come from somewhere. Yeah, it comes from the owners and they pay them ridiculous sums.
Yep.
But they wouldn't be doing that if they didn't have the contract with whatever, MLB, TNT, blah, blah, blah. And as a fan, it's great to see your favorite player want to connect with, you're able to connect with them. And not to mention, that should be part of the job description. Like
Hundo Bundo, right? to steal your wife's favorite.
Yeah. Phrase. If you can't, right, your baseball skills are first and foremost here.
Yeah.
But we're going to need you to be in these conferences when we're going over film and be able
you have to talk to the media.
What about on base with just communication? Not like, I know people get the term, I got it, mine, that kind of stuff. But saying something a little bit more in depth in a game plan when you're out there without your translator.
Well, and sadly, the thing is, like, we acknowledged it amongst ourselves there too, is like he can understand what people are saying to him. He answered a few questions at the beginning of training camp without the interpreter saying to him. Like, he jumped in and was like, no. Like, so he knows what you're saying to him. And I bet he could communicate better and more than he lets on. And it's a crutch to it's kind of speaks to like the younger generation almost, to sound like the old man shaking his fist at the cloud. But it's this younger generation doesn't have the same like desire, work ethic, or like man up enough to handle that type of heat. It's a way to like hide from it a little bit.
I'm only here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just like, I don't know, that story specifically made me, I related those two things with the executive order and all that. In that specific player, Rafi Devers, like sums up exactly the reason why we need to designate English as our official language. There's been too many people that have come to this country over the years now and refuse to learn the language. And it's because we offer every service to them in their native language. You can do anything. Like what's the incentive to learn English, to put in the extra work if everything's going to be offered to you in Spanish still, or whatever other language there is? So I don't know. You think we hammered that point?
Yeah,
enough?
I'm good with it.
Okay,
Good
awesome.
job.
I like that hat too, by the way.
Thanks. The Chiefs.
That up, boy. Oh, there you go. What, the Dorchester Chiefs?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Probably going to come for them next after the Redskins.
They are going to come for them. Watch out here in Massachusetts. All right. So jumping into the first thing, I kind of think that this whole story right here, Juice, that we're about to dive into piggybacks on the language theme from the opening and stuff. And it involves the country's very first transvestite congressman from the state of Delaware that goes by the name Sarah McBride. Now, you remember this dude for being, in the headlines a few months ago. He was the dude that got Republicans, led by Nancy Mace, to make sure that they had rules in place preventing dudes like him from using ladies' bathrooms up there on Capitol Hill. So Sarah was back in the news this week because this piece of video we're about to show you started circulating from a committee meeting that he attended. Juice, you want to give that to the folks?
As the representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ranking Member Keating, also wonderful.
Mr. Chairman, could you repeat your introduction again, please?
Yes, we have set the standard on the floor of the House, and I'm simply.
What is that standard, Mr. Chairman? Would you repeat what you just said when you introduced a duly elected representative from the United States of America? Please.
I will. The representative from Delaware, Mr. McBride.
Mr. Chairman, you are out of order. Mr. Chairman, have you no decency? I've come to know you a little bit, but this is not decent.
We will continue this.
You will not continue it with me unless you introduce a duly elected representative the right way.
This hearing is adjourned.
Now, I have a lot of thoughts here, Juice. I know you do too, but quickly, since it's on my mind, or what he just did at the end, why didn't he say, and you have to introduce her? It looked like that's what he was about to say, and he hesitates and says, a duly elected representative. Like, he avoids using an actual pronoun for the person too, because deep down, that the congressman there that had a problem with it knows what's right and what's wrong. And he's playing semantics here with it. So that aggravated me. He hesitates himself and still doesn't refer to the person by the preferred pronoun that they want. He refuses to engage in the lie, but, skirts away from it by using the duly elected official. Like, he doesn't even say like duly elected congresswoman. He completely avoids it. And I'm ashamed to say that jackass that had a problem with it is my specific U.S. congressman here from Massachusetts, Bill Keating. He covers my district, my area here. He's got, a large area, but I fall under that umbrella, and it's really frustrating. I'm going to fire off an email or two. Maybe I'll share this clip with them, send that to them, and see, Juice. But it's
meeting's adjourned. Boom. That was great. The gavel.
The power of the gavel. Now, did you notice how he tried to use the shame thing? Like, same thing we were talking about in the open, right? He tried to shame his opponent.
You have no decency.
Exactly. With the decency thing. Like, are you kidding me? Like, that's insane to me. He demands that McBride be introduced the right way. Now, can you see why it's important that we all communicate under one common language here, Juice? Like,
yeah, they didn't get to do the meeting because of that.
Exactly.
Like, not only like the bigger picture, right, with the nation with speaking actual languages, but using different wording or different language. The meeting's adjourned now. Didn't get anything done because two people can't speak the same language.
And the spin on it that aggravates me is they try to make it like they get their buddies in the media and their press conferences after, and they're like this McBride person, I'm trying to do work and focus on people's money and spending their tax dollars, and Republicans want to waste time on culture war battles. And it's like, no, it's important. You can't do any of that other stuff until we all can agree that we're on the same playing field here. We're speaking the same language. We're different viewpoints politically, but we're in one nation with one vision, one language, with one set of rules. Words mean the same thing for both sides of the aisle. We can't go further unless we solve this issue first. But they want us to move to the other things, because once we do that, we cede the ground that we had, and we give them the win inadvertently. It's very frustrating, Juice. How about
Yeah,
you?
I mean, I don't get put in this situation often. I'm not surrounded by these people and don't have to call people by Mr. and Mrs. that often, but I have a simple way I would address it if need be. Like, I 100% agree that like names can be changed.
Yeah.
Like they can officially be changed. People are named, like we've had names that kind of cross the path of men and women throughout even our lives. Like I know a guy named Ashley. There's girls that go by Charlie. My name, I'm not going to say it. I know girls that are have my name.
Yeah,
so
plenty of juices out there.
Yeah. But like think of Caitlyn Jenner, right? Like I'll call him Caitlyn Jenner, because great, you could change your name to Caitlyn Jenner, but it's Mr. Caitlyn Jenner and he's sitting over there,
Yeah.
So like you can change your name. Call, if it wasn't Mr. Congress, Mr. whatever, like, and you just said, okay, I would say, all right, Sarah McBride's up next. But when I'm using pronouns and one of those things called salutations at the beginning of someone's name, those things are the English language, and your name can be anything. Look at the NFL. If you don't think a name can be anything, these names, right?
That is true.
Names call them anything.
That is true.
Like, those are all guys, and Mr. Ladanian.
What's that show that you like with the Keenan and Peele dude, right? Oh no, what's their names?
Oh yeah, like Key and Peele.
Yeah.
When they're going Aaron.
Aaron. Yeah.
Is there a Jay Quallen in here?
Yeah, the names can be whatever.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love it. And it just was like it felt like Keating and McBride, they're just trying to bully and shame normal, decent people into using their own form of newspeak. And that's all it is, Juice. It's the 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4 anymore. It equals 5 because we say it does. And if you want to get technical about the right way to address Sarah McBride, it would be, clearly be by calling him sir or Mr., because he's a man. Juice, he's a
man who is confused and changes his name to Sarah.
Sure. And no amount of wigs or makeup will ever change that. So I don't know. Maybe we need to send Elaine Bennis over there to, Mr. McBride, so she can maybe do this to him and help him understand. Juice?
Do you see the irony here? You're rejecting somebody because they're bald.
So?
You're bald!
No, I'm not. I was bald. Elaine.
I don't like this thing! And here's what I'm doing with
it! I mean, come on. That would probably help Mr. McBride in the long run. And did you notice he tried to slip in Madam Chair right after the guy called him Mr. McBride?
Like take the high road. Just
exactly, because McBride is clearly inappropriate and childish. The chairman is not actually confused about his gender and is not trying to deceive anybody. So it's just foolish.
Yeah. So
So-
like my end game on that is names are names. The
Yep.
English language is the English language.
which is officially the
English.
language of our country.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So let's slide over to this thing. You know, it was a couple weeks ago. We all remember it. It was some entertaining buzz about it on a Friday afternoon about 2 weeks ago. But that whole Trump, Zelensky, Vance Oval Office meeting. And, you know, like I said, I know you guys already know about it. But I'd just like to revisit it. We haven't had a show since then. So right off the bat, I think Trump set the tone of what was about to happen perfectly when he dropped this old bit on the guy showing up at the White House. Juice.
Pretty close. How are you? Pretty shut.
He's all dressed up today.
President Trump, what's your message to Vladimir Putin, sir? President Trump, you got enough. President Trump, you got a message to Vladimir Putin.
Thank you very much.
Oh, I love it, Juice.
Dude, stop yelling in the background. What is your thing, Mr. Trump? Shut the guy up.
Dude, those jobs must be brutal, man. For
Trying to
people,
get a
you know,
question
we're in the
gaggle.
media here too, but yeah, being a media gaggle person, whoo, it's gotta be rough. There was a guy, I didn't pull this clip either from the thing, but one of the reporters like asked him to his face, like, "Oh, you don't own a suit?" Like to Zelensky. And he was like, "Why don't you ever wear a suit? Do you have one, like, or something?" And Zelensky was pissed too. He played
like
it off.
315 billion. You couldn't have.
Yeah, exactly. Give you
Nothing left
315 billion reasons why you should be rocking a suit here, pal. Now, like I said, I already mentioned it that you guys have seen this footage. I'm sure you've seen it circulating. Now, you know, I hope everybody realizes
He absolutely
No,
couldn't though show up in a suit at least the first time, right?
No, I would hope not. Like
if
he's
he
already
did,
established.
Yeah, I know. And if he did, that would look to the left, to everybody that he's cowtailing, right?
Yeah.
Like, so I blame him for not every single time, but like this time, like if he did, it would be like you already lost the negotiations.
Oh, dude. Yeah. It's like it's the whole thing of like George Bailey sitting in that seat across from Potter, right? And it's like down. Yeah. He shows up rocking the suit. Trump already won. Which essentially, since we've had a couple of weeks to breathe after this thing, Trump has won that side of it because you know, all the fallout after this was that you know, Trump and Vance bullied them. They blew it. Like they're leaving Ukraine out to dry. You know, blah, blah, blah. This, that, and the other thing. He loves Putin. But right, you know, I think it was the night of the you know, de facto State of the Union, Ukraine, Zelensky came back to the table and he's now in agreement with this deal that he showed up to sign at the White House, but didn't have a chance to sign it because Trump kicked him out because of this meeting. Now, this is all blown over. Like I said, he's signing a deal with the United States to let us mine for rare minerals in the Ukraine that we can then profit off of, make some money back home off of. And that's in exchange for the help that we have given them already and will continue to give. Now, I'd like to remind you guys that this thing was like an hour-long meeting, and the fireworks part that everybody saw happened 10 minutes, you know, at the last 10 minutes of it. Sorry. So they were meeting for an hour. This stuff build up. And believe me, I was trying to find the right moment for you guys to share here that we wanted. So ended up watching, you know, pretty much all of it. Again, was kind of fast forwarding a little bit here and there, but it's a buildup, and you can see like Zelensky's getting a little agitated. Trump's, you know, getting a little agitated too. Zelensky's trying to take it in one direction, and Trump's kind of putting the brakes on it and keeping it light and fun. But you can see Zelensky's body language, his facial expression, all that stuff. So I would recommend that it's worth watching to gauge some of that too, instead of just seeing the clip that went viral. Now, the big point that Zelensky was trying to make and trying to ask for was that he wanted security guarantees to prevent Russia from breaking a potential ceasefire. His point being that, Russia and Putin have signed ceasefires with him before and then broken their own signature, basically, and he wants to join NATO. Russia doesn't want Ukraine to join NATO because then they'd have a NATO, country right on their border. I get it. So I understand, what's going on from both sides there. Now, if you listen to what Trump said in the meeting, he was offering that guarantee in his, offering of a security, to Ukraine came in the form of that rare minerals agreement that I already alluded to. Now, that is the deal that Zelensky is signing now, and he wants to do. So Trump was telling him that having a U.S. presence working in Ukraine, mining for the rare minerals, guarantees that the U.S. would respond to help their own people if and when Russia tries to F around again. So the whole point of having the U.S. in there means now there's a reason for us to go in and save our own people, which in turn is going to save the Ukrainians. Now, Zelensky couldn't wrap his head around that. I don't understand it. It makes he wanted Trump to say the words, "Oh, we'll put soldiers, boots on the ground there, in standing there at attention with our weapons, waiting for Russia to cross the border or to continue trying their invasion." Whatever you guys come up with as an agreement, which we're just not going to do, and the UN isn't going to do. So I don't know what Zelensky thought he was going to get. Now, I hope that makes sense. Juice, you following all that? Did I wrap that up? I know I have the tendency.
I get it. I'm with you. I'm still with you.
Okay, so why don't we go and have?
I guess what you're trying to say is Trump is okay, now we have, outside of just war and who you think is right and what should be done and fighting everybody's wars, we actually have legitimate stake monetarily and American bodies there. So why wouldn't we defend those people?
Exactly.
And in turn, that's
this is your guarantee.
Yeah.
And it's good for my country too. It gives us a little something because now we can make a little bit of money. We can get some money back from all the stuff we've poured into helping you. And it's also going to guarantee your future because it's in our best interest too. It's not just being a friendly neighbor.
It helps to boost the economy.
Exactly. So it's
and it's easier to go to ask to taxpayers for money when they're seeing something come back.
Exactly. So it just, I don't know. It makes sense to me. I think Zelensky went in he had Democrats chirping in his ear prior to the meeting. So I think he just went in wanting to do that to try to look like a tough guy or something. I don't know. Now, the fun, the fun part here was this snippet we're going to play you at the end of the meeting. And, there were a couple different things that happened towards the end, but we're just going to show you just this piece right at the very end that I think this was my favorite part of it. Juice?
This entire meeting? No, in this entire meeting, you said thank you. Today. You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war,
He's not speaking loudly. He's not speaking loudly. Your country's in big trouble.
Can I
Wait a minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning. You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Mr. President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
you haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
you
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through this stupid president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
if you didn't have our military equipment,
if
you didn't have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3 days, I heard it from Putin. In 3 days, this is something
maybe
new.
less.
In 2 weeks, of course, yes.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this. I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times to American people.
Accept that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on.
I understand, sir.
I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful.
Oh, brilliant, right?
I love their relationship. Have
Who,
each
him
other's back.
Him and Vance.
I remember our last crew, like, hated
Yep.
each other.
Yep. Oh, it's
Like,
phenomenal.
yeah, like Vance stepped up for him, and then he was like, "Whoa, he's not speaking loudly. Who? That's
Yeah,
my
when-
guy you're talking about."
But the funny thing is, like, he
was
did
yelling.
raise his
Yeah.
voice a little
Yeah, he
bit.
was
And then, and then Trump comes in. He's not speaking loudly, like even louder. Like, too.
Call me Elf one more time.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, it's so great. And then you see him getting handsy with Zelensky too. First
He
it started
coupled
with
the bat,
then
yeah.
he's like, he's getting him. He's like, nope, you're wrong.
And then throwing the little things like maybe sooner. 3
Yeah,
days,
and
maybe.
I love that right at the beginning where we started it. There is the part that like really stood out to me that JD Vance said was like, dude, basically I'm gonna add more to it, but basically you have the balls to come in here now and talk to us after you campaigned with our opposition in Pennsylvania, which we all remember. He showed up with Kamala because he thought those were the people that were going to continue to just feed him money and let him do whatever he wanted. And that's who he wanted in the White House. So it's like, dude, you're going to get involved in our elections. Go do that. And now come in here and try to mess with us. Like, piss off, buddy.
Yeah, and you see why he wanted it visible. I mean, he wanted it to be on air. You see both
Zelensky.
angles. How Trump's saying, I wanted to keep this going.
Yeah.
To show you,
yeah.
look, I'm not backing down and letting this guy take over us. But Zelensky wanted it to guilt trip Trump in front of America. So like, look how bad Trump is.
And then play the victim afterwards too.
Yeah. So they both wanted it aired. I mean, but that is a closed room discussion.
Absolutely.
But
it's like, dude, we can haggle over some of this stuff. Fine. But
don't bring us out here and try to make us look like bad guys in front of my own.
Yeah. 100%.
Not even thank us for the 350.
Yeah. Crazy.
About
So
350.
And then like again, I feel like I've hammered it home already, but the fact that everyone thought the fallout was like, and we're in the exact same spot 2 weeks later, and he's agreeing to the deal. Like, the U.S. didn't have to give anything up. We didn't sacrifice anything else from that, what was on the table right then and there. We still need Russia to come to the table and figure this out, and who knows what's going to happen there. But they at least agreed on this side of the thing, with the Ukrainians and stuff, and that didn't change from 2 weeks ago. The only thing that happened was the media freaked out for a couple of days afterwards and tried to blame Trump and Vance and blah blah blah, and everyone put up the Ukraine flags on their Facebook profiles again. So had to deal with that for a couple of weeks. Now let's shift over to that would-be State of the Union, where Trump went and spoke to Congress in the People's House. And, you guys all know that he came, he gave the address, and he absolutely crushed it. He made he made a child that's had multiple brain cancer surgeries an honorary member of the Secret Service juice during that. He honored the family of Lake and Riley. He surprised a young man by informing him that he was accepted into the military academy, but Democrats could not be bothered to stand and clap to acknowledge those people at all. That was the takeaway after that night. We all know they hate Trump. We all know they hate us. We all know they hate Republicans. I didn't expect them to stand and clap or acknowledge any of the things that Trump was going to go up and talk about politically, that he's achieved, looking to achieve, any of that stuff. But for the people in the crowd that always get brought in for these things, you would think that they would want to at least stand.
Like, that has the other ones are like their fault, right?
Yeah, that's true. Like
Blake and Riley, like, yeah, you can't, like, because you basically did that with your open border policy.
Yeah,
but like the brain surgery kid, that's just good, wholesome stuff for everything. Horrible, you know what I mean? How can everybody not get behind that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy. Now, kind of,
I love those though, when like they do the wide pan and you'll see one group stand up and
Yeah. No, because obviously our side of the aisle does the same thing when there's a Democrat up there giving the speech too. So like I get that stuff. But
yeah, but they're usually not pulling on your heartstrings with something that the whole nation should be able to agree upon. It's still that silent, whatever you were saying before, the small stuff, the not standard.
Yeah. It's crazy. Now, the one thing that they did clap for and they did agree with Trump about was when he brought up the topic we just touched on, Ukraine. And he talked about all the amount of money that we're sending to Ukraine. The left loving that. And specifically, this member of the left right here that Trump just absolutely destroyed during the speech. Juice?
To support Ukraine's defense with no security, with no anything. Do you want to keep it going for another 5 years? Yeah, you would say Pocahontas says yes.
What did that guy say? They're talking about you.
Yeah, and you know that guy who leaned in was the guy from the first clip.
Oh, was it?
That dude Keating, yeah. They're talking about you, sir.
Hey, Chief, they're talking about you, Mr. Chief.
Oh, man. But that's hilarious. Like she just, you guys wanted me to fund this for 5 more years, and she loved that. Loved it. Oh, it's so good. In the left, somebody called, your boy Raskin, Juice. You know him?
Yeah,
Jamie
Prison
Raskin?
Mike.
Prison Mike. I think he just this week tried to put paperwork in to censure the president because of his racist and derogatory term that he used to describe a senator. Talking about that.
Yeah.
Like, what a tool.
Like, she's laughing it off and like
that line
was kind
plays
of like
because
a
it's
decent,
true.
yeah, that was almost kind of like unified by language a second. Like she wasn't mad about it. Like, you know what I mean? It was a dig on her, but she was still laughing and like that.
Yeah,
was
and if she
one time I didn't see her with a crazy scowl on her face. Like, right?
True.
She always looks mad.
True.
She's kind of like,
yeah, that's true.
She's like, guys, why are you clapping? They're talking about you.
Oh, it's so funny. Now I don't get it though, what the fascination with the Ukraine stuff is, like why that would be their thing. But it is what it is. Now, keeping the comedy rolling here, Juice, right? The best comedic bit of the night, I think, had to come when Trump was talking about all the money that's wasted from that USAID stuff. So
it's not all that they care about is Ukraine. They care about a lot of stuff that is not America first. There's a whole list of it coming up. You want the list?
Let's do it.
It's not just Ukraine that they're looking out for. Let's see what else they're funding.
Listen to some of the appalling waste we have already identified. $22 billion from HHS to provide free housing and cars for illegal aliens. $45 million for diversity, equity, and inclusion scholarships in Burma. $40 million to improve the social and economic inclusion of sedentary migrants. Nobody knows what that is. $8 million to promote LGBTQI+ in the African nation of Lesotho, which nobody has ever heard of. $60 million for indigenous peoples and Afro-Colombian empowerment in Central America. $60 million. $8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
Oh, it's incredible. The eyebrows, right?
Burma. He's like the other one. Nobody even knows what that is. A sedentary migrant. I never heard that term.
It's so good.
Sedentary doesn't that mean like seated and
you're asking me?
But migrant means
man.
you're moving to I don't know. But
man.
$8 million for transgender migrants. So yeah,
He's
like
just-
it's Ukraine is the biggest dollar amount
True.
on that, but they care a lot.
They care about all that stuff
many
too.
things.
Yep. Which is another thing that, like, that the left is just hates anything the right wants. Like these, the typical, person that you see on Facebook that's just the crazy lefty who's always just posting that crap without noticing what it is, changing the flag, all that stuff. You can tell I look at my stupid Facebook more than I probably should. But those are the people that I don't understand why they have a problem with solving wasted crap that our tax dollars fund. Like I understand the hatred for like Trump if they don't like his style, the way he talks, whatever. Some of the policies,
what he's doing to Americans, like what is affecting you yourself. Another one was circumcisions for some African country.
Like why would they be against
getting rid of that stuff? Yeah.
Yeah. Like they want to defund the police, like in our own country.
Yeah.
But keep funding that crap.
Yeah. And one that later on was the I think this has made the rounds, but the Middle Eastern or Arab Sesame Street.
Yes,
yeah. 20 million for a season of that.
It's crazy. It's crazy. So that just is like a no-brainer. And again, it's the common sense stuff that we talk about here. And that's his presidency right now in a nutshell. Most of it's common sense.
How did I get into this?
Yeah. And that's why it is it's playing well for most people. I think like he's picking the perfect issues that are like 80-20 issues, like transgenderism, the men in women's sports. That's an 80-20 issue in our favor. And the left is clinging to that 20% and fighting it. And go ahead, more power to you. You're going to keep losing if that's going to be their strategy going forward. Now, I don't know. Like, I know that the news cycles move quickly here, but this,
we need to get back to weekly, but yeah.
I guess so. But, this one here, I think I have it in there, Juice. Now I'm looking at my thing here and I don't know if I gave it to you. So, I did. Okay, perfect. I just wanted to make sure that I was setting up a clip that's actually going to be there.
Is it about a border clip?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I
okay, I see it now too. So I'm like, oh crap. All right. So Juice, these things move quickly. We know that, right? So last summer, you remember, I know it's a long time ago. It's hard to think back to it, but what was Biden and the Democrats trying to say before he completely killed his presidency and his reelection bid in that one night at the debate against Trump? Before all that, right around that time, he was saying that we need new laws passed so that I can shut down the border. We need Congress to work and pass immigration reform laws so that I can successfully shut this border down. And then when it didn't pass, it was Donald Trump killed the bill, right?
Yeah, what do you want me to do? You won't let me. You won't let me do it.
Yep. He wants this to fail because he wants to run on that issue. He doesn't want to save to help the border. He wants to damage it. He wants to use it to politicize things. That was all the talk. I think Trump came in about 40, 50 days, had this to show for it, Juice. This is his take on the situation.
And our friends in the Democrat Party kept saying we needed new legislation. We must have legislation to secure the border. But it turned out that all we really needed was a new president.
There's that shot at the end that you like too, right?
Yeah.
From behind, and they're all just, it's great. Now, we all know that our friend and commander in chief there, President Trump, he's a little bit long-winded. Likes the spotlight, likes to be up there, and he's great at it. So I don't begrudge him that. But honestly, he talked that night. I think it was an hour and 40 minutes or something like that. I watched the whole thing. It was compelling. I'll listen to that guy for whatever, any length of time, because he's always interesting. But he honestly, if he walked up, said hello to everybody, and just said that, put his hands up and walked away, that would have been a phenomenal speech, because that right there sums everything up perfectly for us. It's amazing. You didn't need all that nonsense that Biden and the left talked about. You just needed a president who was willing to enforce the laws and rules that are already on the books. And that's basically the way our government could operate everywhere. There's already rules and laws on the books that should be preventing homeless people from setting up camps in tents on the sidewalks, in your parks, in the middle of the city, anywhere. There are rules and laws already in effect that you could just get them right out of there. But you need someone who's got the willpower to carry through with it, to follow through with it, and enforce those laws, and then deal with the blowback that they're going to get afterwards from all the people trying to call them mean and heartless and blah, blah, blah. But you can do it. You just need to actually do it. Just do it, right? It's crazy. I don't understand it, Juice.
Mind-boggling.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I thought that was great. But, Juice, is this the time in the show where we get to remember to plug our stuff? What's your wife selling these days? Your wife selling anything?
No, we're taking a break from selling.
You got an insurance plan to offer anybody? Anything like that?
No. Is your wife up to anything? She doing
No,
anything?
she does have a book that you could buy, though, called The
No,
Robin.
you don't say.
It's a children's book, and it is perfect to help you with a loss of a family member, a loved one. And you could read this. It's a book about seeing the signs out there that people that have left your life and have moved on to heaven, they're always going to leave you some signs behind, help you remember them. And this book sums that up for you. It tells you a perfect story about it. It's called The Robin, named after Ashley's mother, Robin, who we lost a few years ago. And she did a great job with it. So look for that book anywhere you can find stuff that's in print. That would be Amazon. Dorrance Publishing is the main website. So order the book. I think you guys will love it. It's good stuff. All right. Oh, Juice, should they subscribe to our show?
Could use them. Could use a little.
That would help, right?
Couple extra subs.
Maybe
smash the button, right?
Yeah, smash it. The like, subscribe, all that good stuff. We're on Spotify, Apple, Rumble, YouTube. Say hello to us, drop a comment. All that stuff's great.
Yeah, so, like the comments we get are usually hate comments, and we love those too. Like, let's have a dialogue about these things. You disagree, put something in there. Let's talk about it.
Open dialogue, baby.
Yeah,
that's what we love. All right. Now that stuff's satisfied, we satisfied the sponsors, Juice?
Yeah, I think they're yeah.
Okay. Let's bring this show home with our segment that we like to use to close things out. It's called the Come On Man segment of the day. And this is when we find a clip of somebody doing something, saying something that's so absurd, so ridiculous that even though we're going to make fun of them for a couple of minutes, there's not much else we could say to them except, "Oh, man." Exactly. Our former president's favorite line. Come on, man. I can't close the border. Come on, man. You got to be crazy, Jack. Listen, if that guy, Donald Trump, thinks he could do it better, tell him to come in here and take it from me. He can pull it from my cold, dead hands. Jack.
Second favorite line is, Cone. Come on, Jack. Cup or cone? You really asking that?
A cup or a cone. Always goes.
He's a cone guy.
Cone.
Yeah,
absolutely. I don't know how. It's very hard to do. I'm no stranger to a waffle cone, with hard ice cream, but they pack that in. You kind of get it. But the regular standard sugar cone with big ass, sorry people, plops of ice cream right on top of it. How the heck are you getting that thing without it falling right off? You need soft served in a cone if you're gonna try.
Yeah, why does he? I think he's a waffle cone guy.
I guess maybe it is a waffle.
We're not facts and stats, right? Put it in the comments.
I'm typically a cup guy, anyways.
Yeah, because it's like I enjoy a cone too, but maybe match it up or like do it in the privacy of your own. Like you can't be out there licking around in the public.
Yeah, that's true. Trying to be the president, leader, all that
in
stuff.
like hot day
No.
on your hand, shaking hands.
No good. No good.
But
all right, Juice. Now, the left is a collection of, I think they're just a bunch of immature theater nerds that think they're still in high school. And they also are a collection of old people that are trying to act young and hip to fit in with those theater nerds that think they're in high school. So it's like
we like theater though, but yeah,
I love theater.
Nothing wrong with theater.
I say theater nerd even as a term of endearment. Like I think a theater kid who knows who they are would say, "Sure, I am a nerd. I'm not a jock. Sports person's a jock."
Yeah, sure.
You know, but that's who these people are, and they're gonna show you that with this clip here because they're performing like they're in a high school, troop or something.
Yeah, this
but
is embarrassing.
It's. I get it to an extent from the younger members of Congress. I just think they're immature
but it's like it'd be one thing if it was good, like it's bad and cringy always.
Exactly.
Like I would almost give got us on that one. That was a pretty good meme or good job.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're always bad.
Well, because they have no humor either. They're just like mean, like angry, like just depressing people. I think they're just not happy. They don't have God in their life. That's probably what it all comes down to. Actually, is I would say most of them don't have God in their life, and they're just happy, inadequate people. And this is the way they try to put their stuff out there. I guess that's how they cope with it. And then those older people are the worst because they remind me of the religious ed guy who's trying to like be young and hip to the kids to get them into the lesson for the day or something, where instead of just being like, okay, I'm not a 16-year-old, they're going to show up.
Yeah, the teacher wearing cool sneakers or something.
Exactly. That's how these older people feel to me, and it's just not going to happen.
But let's see what
we're talking about here. This bit, Juice. Tell them about Street Fighter. You remember that game?
A bit, right? One-on-one game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hadouken.
Oh yeah. Ryu and Ken and yeah. So like when you're an older game, one-on-one first fighter, and when you would go through the screen and you're picking your character, they kind of do a loop of getting ready for the fight, right? And they're trying to do that and describe themselves as the these are your fighters to go.
The stats,
fight. It's cheesy
it's
and
a play
cringy,
on that,
but play on an old video game.
Street Fighter is 30 years old at this point. And it's just they're just terrible at it. So this is all the members of the left who this was their reaction to Trump after his address the other night. This is how they're going to combat him. Juice.
Choose your character.
Oh, there it is, Juice.
Who is that? Maisie Ono or whatever? What's her name? That lady?
That was not her.
Oh, but
that was not her.
But she was like whoever that lady was.
It was Judy Chu. And the only don't think I'm next level or anything here, Juice. This is just
you
simply
you just read the stats.
I just hit pause on the video.
Yeah.
and I jotted them down.
Yeah, she was like the worst. But when you bring the old lady in who has no rhythm, like it ruins the bit.
Yes. So listen to these things though. This is what stood out to me when I was looking at that. So AOC, one of the things that like the checks in her column says youngest woman plus Latina to be elected. Lauren Underwood, who came in after, youngest Black woman elected and co-founded the Black Maternal Office. What the hell is a Black Maternal Office? And then Catherine Clark. And there was a generic comment about nonsense. Her hates hair dye. That's what it said, because she has gray hair. Like, oh, hates hair dye. But I'm surprised it didn't say fashioned herself a transgender child, which she has done. She has a boy who thinks he's a girl in his 20s that got arrested for vandalizing in the Boston Common over the summer. We covered it on the show here. And then the one you were talking about, Judy Chu, in her stat, first Chinese woman elected. Jasmine Crockett came in towards the end there.
Yeah, but how about a stat like passed an important bill that made the majority of American lives better?
Crockett's stat, not a morning person. These people really take themselves serious, Juice. I mean, anybody who has a job in this world knows, like, how can you not be a morning person? You have to get up and go to work. Like,
she probably hated the return to office, right? Going back to
yes, that's horrible. So it just, dude, it stood out to me that youngest in Latina, youngest Black, first Chinese, like that's all they care about. That's all they want to
not about acts. Like, what did you actually do? And
you had no control over being Latina or a woman, AOC.
Yeah.
Like, that has nothing to do with your qualities or ability. You simply were born. That's God's work.
Mm-hmm.
It's nuts. All right. Now, speaking of Jasmine Crockett, Juice, she's the one at the end there. Now, she had to go and try and one-up this video by releasing her own little dance video.
When is the work getting done?
She's not a morning person, so I don't know.
These are obviously on the job. Like, there's all the American flags in the last one. This other one we're going to show is walking around the halls of Congress.
Yeah,
or whatever.
Exactly.
Just
So,
do their job.
Dude, this is what she tried to go with to show you how mature and grown up she is there in the halls of Congress.
It's a cultural divide. I'm gonna get it on the flow. You really about to do it? 40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music. You really about to do it? Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence. They get on it like that. Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like fuck. Mustard on a beat, bro. Deep boat, any rap. He a freak though. Man down, call like Amber Lambs. Tell him breathe. Let them boys to the cross, they walk around like G's. What's up with these?
Wow.
What is it for? Just to like go viral? Like,
she thinks she's following the AOC dream of just wanting to be an influencer.
Yeah, but she's not up for something like.
No, she's
nothing
in already.
Yeah, no, and there's not.
I mean, obviously they're always trying to bring in more money for re-elections, so maybe it has to do with that.
Yeah, but like that's just like, oh, let's film a viral video and walk down the hall.
That's it. That's all it is. Oh, maybe this one will go viral. Like, and then bring me more prominence, which I can parlay into higher office or a gig outside the government or something. Who knows? Podcast. They want to do what we're doing, Juice. There's no money in podcasting, people. Believe us.
It's a grind.
So, I just don't get it. Like, and as long as they continue to do stuff like that and focus on things like that, great. That's good for us. Brings us content, and it helps us, demonstrate that these people have no interest in governing. They have no interest in being taken serious. They have no interest in doing the job of a boring, nerdy member of Congress. That should be the job description for these people. Like, you see Mike Johnson behind Trump, and he's funny. He makes the faces and stuff, rolls his eyes when it was Biden talking, but he's got the nerd glasses on. He's a little guy, looks good in the suit and stuff, but that guy.
Yeah, when he leaves that State of the Union, he's diving into one of those.
Exactly.
What do they call it when you the boondoggle bill with everything else?
Yes.
Right. He's going in there either trying to add stuff or
sipping on a cup of tea or something.
Yeah.
Puts
he has those circle glasses. He puts on like the smaller, like Ben Franklin ones and dives into a spreadsheet or something.
Yes, exactly.
Not making
where these people. These gals went out and shot a TikTok instead, or they just go out and just want to hang out with each other or something. They just
I wonder if they're like, oh, Trump's got this covered. We'll just go make videos.
yeah, maybe. It's wild. It's bananas. It's mind-boggling. So I don't get it, Juice. Do you get these people?
No, not a clue.
All right, awesome. Well, do you have anything else to say to them?
Yeah, one thing I could say to them.
All right, awesome. Maybe we could give them a big, fat, rotten, classic.
Man.
There you go. And that'll do it for tonight's show. Thank you guys for joining us, as always. If you like and subscribe to the show, you'll get a little notification, that bell icon, that will tell you when we drop new content. So since our schedule isn't always the most consistent, and we do kind of post, sporadically here, turn that on. So you'll get a little notification. Hey, the guys just dropped a new video, and it will make your day. You'll be pumped. You'll have something to watch and listen to. And
if it ruins your day, put a comment in there. Let's engage.
Absolutely. Please. That'd be great. So good stuff. Well, until next time.
Yeah. Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
I had a great time.
Me too. Thank you.
Everybody knows you had a great time. The whole neighborhood had a great time.
Oh, good stuff.
Okay. Go out the outro.
Thought you were already doing that.
Man, what are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Corn Pop was a bad dude.
Whoa.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.
Come on, man. What are we talking about?
Right and wrong.